It's the Meat Trapper here. Tonight I want to talk a little bit about the off season. Right now it's about 100 degrees outside with about 95% humidity. And this is the so-called off season, the middle of the summer. But really the truth is, for a trapper, there is no such thing as the off season. While we may not be out setting traps for fur, for me at least, I'm just as busy now as I will be in the upcoming season. You see, too many trappers wait till the cool air of fall nips into our face to start thinking about setting traps. By that time, it's really too late. You need to be in gear now. So when it's 100 degrees outside, what can you actually be doing? Well, there's a lot. The first thing you need to be doing right now is planning. And then after you plan, you need to act on your plans. And by planning, what I mean is you need to decide what you're going to trap. What animals are you going to trap? You need to take a look at the fur reports from the auctions this past year. You need to figure out what's bringing the money and what you have in your area. The next thing you need to do is to figure out what kind of traps you're going to use. Say if you're going to trap coon, are you going to use cage traps? Are you going to use foothold traps, body grip traps, snares? Are you going to use dog-proof traps, or some combination of all of those? Probably one of the most important things you can be doing right now is getting permission and scouting. Because it doesn't do any good to buy traps, get your traps ready, and have everything ready to go if you don't have any place to trap. A lot of people are fortunate to have public land to trap, but a lot of people don't have that opportunity, especially if they live in states where trapping is severely restricted. So once you've got your permission, once you've got your territory, once you've figured out what you're going to trap, what kind of traps you're going to use, the next thing you need to try and do is figure out how many traps you're going to need to cover the territory that you have. And this can be difficult to do, and if you're new to trapping, my advice is to err on the low side. I'd rather see a person put out 6 traps and make 6 good sets than to put out 3 dozen traps, forget where they've got them set, make crappy sets, and have poor results. But that's just me. Another thing you need to be doing this time of the year is taking advantage of this time, the long days, the warm weather, to clean your traps and get them ready. You need to boil your traps, get them clean of rust, get them clean of dirt, blood, of fur, and you need to prep them. Whether you're going to dip your traps, dye your traps, paint your traps, whatever method you use or decide to use, you need to go ahead and get it done, and you need to let them start airing out. You want to have it so that when trapping season opens, your traps are hung up and they're ready to go. All you got to do is grab them and go. And while you're doing that, you need to take time to inspect all of your connective hardware. You need to look at your chains, you need to look at your cables, your split rings, your swivels, your S-hooks, all of that, and you need to replace anything that needs to be replaced. Another thing you can do, even though it may not seem to be directly related to trapping, is to go fishing. And 2 things are going to happen if you go fishing and you catch fish. Number 1, you're going to have some bait for the freezer. Everything likes fish. And number 2, you can put some food in your freezer and help put food on your table. Whether you're going to trap turtles, you can trap catfish, or simply just catch fish, you can eat the fish that you catch and then use the leftovers for bait. Another thing to do is to take a good hard look at your fur processing setup if you're going to process your fur. And if not, then you don't have to worry about this. But if you are going to put up your fur, you need to make sure that your fleshing beam is in good shape, that you've got your knives, they're in good shape. Do you have enough stretchers? Do you have the right size stretchers? Are you going to use wire, or are you going to use wood stretchers? And sit down, take your time, give yourself a good, honest look, and if you don't have what you need, go ahead and order it now. Don't wait till the last minute. Even if you're not that serious about trapping, even if you're brand new to trapping, let's say you only want to put out a few rabbit boxes this fall. Let's say your idea of trapping is putting out 6 rabbit boxes. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and make your boxes now. put them out and let them start aging. Let the wood age, let the newness wear off, and get those rabbit boxes built, get them outside so that when the time comes, all you got to do is pick them up, carry them out in the woods, and set them. And while this may seem kind of funny, one thing you can do is practice making sets. If you're going to use leg hold traps, you can go out in your backyard and practice bedding them and make sure that you bed your traps solid. You can even go out on public land or state parks and practice bedding traps as long as you pull them up out of the ground and don't leave them set. Make sure that you practice until this is second nature to you, until you can simply get your efficiency up to where you're not spending 30 minutes trying to put one set in. And finally, a last thing that I do is anytime I'm out in the woods and hiking or walking or even riding down the road and looking off the side of the road, I'm always looking for sign, and I'm always making mental notes of, if I had to trap this area, where would I make a set and why? And to me, that's just a mental exercise. It's a way to keep your brain thinking about trapping, and a way to analyze your environment. Analyze what makes that environment good or bad for trapping. Remember, trapping is a mindset. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of living. It's in your DNA. It's not just something that you do for a few weeks out of the year, if you're like me. In any event, recently I took a weekend off, took it off from work, took it off from trapping, and I went hiking up in the Sipsey River Wilderness area in northwest Alabama. And this is really a magnificent place. It's really beautiful. And so I'll just leave you here with a few minutes of scenery of what it was like. I hope you enjoy it.